Namaste, welcome back to Waking Up with Mindful Surrender Yoga, and we're going to continue answering questions from the jar. I'm going to pull out a question and try to answer it within 10 minutes. These questions are based on a little deeper stuff than what did you eat for breakfast, but at the same time, they're hopefully not too difficult for someone who is a lay person like myself to answer. I'm going to try to answer this question that I just pulled out, but it might be beyond me. I have to go through the route knowledge that's been stored in my brain, and route knowledge or memory is not necessarily true wisdom. It's just stuff we've picked up from the outside world and stored inside. But I have to try to make sense of it with the deeper part of myself when I answer this question. So I'm going to start the timer. Take a deep breath. And I'm going to look at this and see, again, this is mostly to test me, so it's testing my route knowledge, testing what I remembered, and see if I can assimilate it into something a little wiser. The question I received are, what are the 5 elements of the body, and what does that have to do with yoga? What are the 5 elements of the body, and what does that have to do with yoga? Okay, so this is going back to some basic teachings related to yoga. And the 5 elements of the body, according to yoga, and I'm going to see if I can get these right. I might not get them in order, and I'm not sure if they actually have to be in order. There's earth, fire, water, air and space. Earth, fire, water, air, and space, I believe. Let's see if they are that. I'm going to go on pretending that they are that. I'm not even sure. I have to check them out. So what are the 5 elements of the body, and what do they have to do with yoga? Well, yoga, of course, the word yoga means union, right? Merging into all that is. Merging into the only thing that is, and that is the source from which we all originated. So that source, from that source, we have Earth. We have the planet we're on and the soil of that planet, which allows for the growth of absolutely everything. So the human body, this vessel that I'm in, this border-lined and finite little vessel that takes me here and takes me there. When I'm using the me here, I mean the higher self here and the higher self there. From place to place so it can experience this world, is made partially of earth. And we can look at that biologically by saying we have from the earth the minerals that we consume from food. We have the nutriments or nutrients that we consume from food from this planet, from the soil itself, the earth itself. You know, the grounding force. And there is a lot of, I don't want to call it a New Age movement, because a lot of these New Age, what we consider New Age, are actually ancient truths that have been westernized and assimilated a little bit to adhere to Western ideation. But one of those things is grounding, this connecting with the earth, walking barefoot on the earth. When the human body plants its feet onto the earth, it's said to absorb the magnetic field into itself, right? So we have, it also is believed that the gravity is just the repelling of 2 of the same forces, our body, what's in our bodies and what's in the earth, and that keeps us where we are. But the earth is full of magnetic energy. We know everything is magnetic energy, and what keeps us here, what allows us to absorb that energy from the earth, is when we plant our feet firmly on it through a process called grounding or earthing. And I think there might be other names for it. So connecting to the earth through touch and contact. Even the Buddhists have a very big part of their practice is bending down and then touching the earth 5 times. You know, this recognition that we are just an extension of earth as a human body. We're just we are part of nature. We are not here to use nature and, be distinct from it so we can use it, manipulate it, and eventually destroy it. We are simply a part of it, a manifestation of it, just like that rock over there, or that tree over there, or that dog over there, or that other human being over here. We are all the same. We're all the body, which is just a clump of flesh, a clump of earth, in the sense of what we take in through ingestion and what we absorb through contact with it. We are earth. The next one I said, and I guess I gotta check these because I may be off, is fire. And fire is, and again, I should refer to the cooling nature of the earth. There's a cooling tendency as well. A very masculine tendency. Then we have the fire, the burning, the energy that we burn up. And if we look at our bodies as physiological entities, we know that we form, the whole process that keeps us together is this formation of ATP, it's an energy that we build through our use of glucose and, the nutriments that we take in and breathe in, the carbon dioxide, the oxygen, whatever, to make this entity, and water, to make this energy that burns, and every single cell in our body will make ATP so that we produce energy and heat in the body. So that is a part of the physical body as well. An element of the body is this fire, this heat, this energy production that does naturally occur in the body, and it can be linked to the purification fire that Hindus, for example, use a lot. Fire is believed to purify and to remove negative energy or those things that don't serve us anymore, help relieve some of that karma that we are burning off through our fire, our inner fires, and through our actions. The third one is water, and of course water has a cooling effect too, and water also has energy and stuff in it, but think of the natural flow of water. We as human bodies are 60 to 70% water. We are made of fluid, so we are like the earth in the sense. We are just like, again, a continuation of the earth which is manifested through our being 70% water. So water is an essential part of the human body. And it serves it's a lubricant, it's cooling effect, it has, a hydrating effect, it keeps us going. The other element that's in the body, and a very important one, is air, what we breathe in through the earth. So when we're looking at our relationship with the earth when it comes to the elements of the body, or yoga, because the oneness of everything, we know that the trees breathe off oxygen and absorb the carbon dioxide that we breathe out. We breathe in their oxygen and breathe out the carbon dioxide to feed them. So there's this interdependent relationship in the element of air between our bodies and the bodies and the body of the planet. So we know we need oxygen we need this air that fill our lungs. Most of us, this air is essential to every cell for the process of ATP, for the process of fire, energy production, And we're using the elements from the earth, the minerals and whatnot, to help in this process as well. So we see an interconnectedness between these 5 elements of the body to allow for just the human body itself to survive, and therefore breathe out, expend energy, do whatever it does outside to feed the rest of the planet. So there is that interconnectedness as well. So air is very, very important. We know we can only go so many minutes without there being a destruction to cells when we don't provide enough oxygen for the cellular metabolism to take place. And finally, we have space. as another element. And this is kind of cool to think that when we look at something of matter, we see it as solid and we see it as heavy and dense, when really about 90% of it, at least, is space. When we break down the human body to the smallest subatomic particles, the electrons, neutrons, and protons, especially the electrons, we'll notice around the electrons this humongous amount of space. And the more research they're doing into bosons and quarks, we're seeing there's even that can be broken down further, that these things are coming from this space. All that is seen as matter is actually coming from this space, this emptiness. And that is so much more of who we are than the dense matter that we're perceiving with our five senses. So the space to me is just, wow, we're space. So we come from space, we're in space, and we're full of space. And those are the five elements. Coming to understand how these elements are connected to other bodies, be they other human bodies or other sentient bodies, and to other sentient beings, or even non-sentient bodies or phenomena, will help us to realize where we are as far as that is concerned. So, as far as we are as connected to everything and to this planet, not just to this planet, but to each and everything in it. We're all just breathed out with one breath into a manifestation. We don't breathe, we are breathed. We don't beat our hearts, it is be. And whatever energy is in me that makes up these five elements of earth and water and fire and air and space makes up everything else in the universe. It's just all there is, really. And just we're all manifested using those five elements into different forms that we recognize as human or dog or whatever. But we're all one. We're all just one, coming from the same source that created all this. And that's yoga. Well, I hope that made sense. Thank you so much for joining in, and I hope to see you again soon. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.